Howdy, y'all. Welcome to Never Settle. He is 7-time NASCAR Cup Series champion Jimmie Johnson. He has some Frank August in his hand, and I wish you guys could have seen the thrash. He has this new thing where he wants to show off a whole bunch of stuff on our gorgeous set here. And so we went through some inventory, and
well, this place, I've collected everything, right? So my 7-time Cup champion glasses from 2016,
Senator.
cheers, that I've had in my collection.
God bless the old brown water.
We've got a new Frank August offering. This is our rye with the green on it. Man, is it nice. And then I'm just digging around looking for stuff to I don't know, we have it all here, we may as well.
I completely agree with you. I'm all about show and tell. I'm a big show and tell guy. And college football is starting this weekend. It actually started on Saturday. Tremendous game in Ireland between Iowa State and Kansas State. Cyclones won it. But we really get started in earnest this weekend. And Jimmie Johnson is a de facto
Married
into the Oklahoma Sooner family.
I have.
And I like this show and tell piece. The great Bob Stoops.
The great.
Somebody that I love. I love that man.
Love that man. What a dude. We got to meet him and spend some time with him when Shanny and I were first dating. And it was during that window of time where they're going to every championship game. I mean, we had so much fun. I have a lot of great friends they're the alum, and now, oddly enough, our nephew, he just rushed, and I wish I could pronounce the fraternity he got into.
A Kappa,
one of those
Gamma,
things.
the Sigma Pi.
But his life is shifting in a way, and it's so neat to see it. And Shanny has been such a great influence on him, showing him different experiences, showing him what's outside of that small town of Muskogee that he grew up in. And if he wants to go back someday, fantastic. But come on out a little bit, look around, go to school. And he had his first day of school today at the University of Oklahoma, and we will be attending quite a few games.
Boomer.
This is a moment for Shanny to go back and be on campus, be around her friends. And what's wild is a lot of her friends that she went to school with, their kids are now at OU. So it's going to be a fun fall.
It won't surprise me if in mid-September I'm not at the Auburn-Oklahoma game, which is in Norman. So maybe I'll see you there.
Dude,
but all right,
let's take this thing there.
This has a bunch
Let's take the show there.
Great. This
Get
has
Stoops.
a bunch of writing all over it, right?
Does.
So when you're doing a helmet swap, so you gave Coach
Yes,
Stoops
this was a helmet swap.
a
Correct.
Lowe's racing helmet,
Yeah, it had to be so long ago.
right? And let me see if I can read his writing. It does look pretty. To Jimmie and Shanny, a great Sooner and a new Sooner. 2007, you're the best, Bob Stoops. Big 12 champs, national champs, Boomer Sooner. So the Stoops brothers are from Youngstown, Ohio, and they are tougher than woodpecker lips, son. Those boys do not screw around. And
That never gets old.
Mark, his brother, is a head coach at the University of Kentucky. Mike was his defensive coordinator. And, of course, Bob is a national champion Hall of Famer. And I love talking to those guys about when they were kids because they didn't have a lot. And we were asking each of them one time about, biscuits versus cornbread. And Mark said, the hell with that, man. We were fighting for the heel on the bread. The piece of the bread?
The butt.
The butt. And I just love talking to those guys. They're incredible dudes,
Great guys.
all phenomenal football coaches and fun dudes to be around.
Fun guys, for sure. Bob would come, so it was like the July Daytona race, the one that just happened over the weekend, and he was always in Florida. And he would come to the race, and I'll never forget when I got the helmet. He came to the race, came in the bus, and hung out and shot the breeze.
Did he have you address the team when you were there?
Yes, one of the times. So they won at home, and we're going the national championship game. And I was brought into the locker room, and it was great. I got to run across the field, went with Bob, get to the locker room, and for that final game, for the seniors to have a moment to say their goodbyes, their tradition at the time, could still be the case today, was to let the seniors kind of rap and say their piece or whatever the experience had been at the school in front of the group. And so I'm in there, and I feel like I shouldn't be in there, right? Like I'm in a tight room.
You're an imposter.
And yes, without a doubt. And Bob's like, brings me in. I keep trying to retreat, and he goes, "Hey boys, listen up." Introduces me. Next thing you know, they're grabbing me and put me up in the air, and I'm like crowd surfing the locker room.
I love it.
It was epic.
So that must have been 2009.
Yeah, I would say so.
Because they played Florida and Tebow in the national championship game that year.
And they lost, yeah.
That year.
Yeah, and they lost. I was on the sidelines for that when they lost.
Oh, did you see the hit?
Yes. We almost got taken out.
You were right there when the hit
big
happened?
hit on the Sooner side?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When the wide receiver almost
Dude,
got his freaking brains knocked out of his ear?
To the right.
What?
Facing the field, I'm 4 paces to the right.
Have you seen Swamp Kings?
No.
So in Swamp Kings, there's a documentary on Netflix, one of those Untold, I think.
Yeah.
And it's called Swamp Kings, and Tebow and Urban and all of those great Gators are in it. And one of the moments in that documentary is when that play happened. Because the football's in the air for a really long time, and the wide receiver's under it, and the safety comes over, and he's like, I could have picked that ball off, but I wanted to send a message. And he blew that boy up. I love football. I can't wait until Saturday.
The sound the collision made was so frightening that I was down there with a couple friends. We went up and sat in the seats. We're like, we're good.
I got to remember.
That could have been us. We could have been tagged like that.
Hold on. Give me 1 second. Major Wright. I wanted to make sure Major got his flowers. It was Major Wright, and he came over from free safety. And I mean, that was as violent a hit, because that was before targeting. That was before the rules the way they are now. Boy, that was
quite
gnarly.
A pop. That plastic helmet on, I guess, the plastic chest protector and helmet and all that stuff colliding is gnarly.
That would be shoulder pads.
Oh yeah, I went to my
That'd be called shoulder pads in the United States of America.
No, motocross. It's called the chest protector. Sorry.
Jimmie Johnson, big football guy.
I'm the IE, not the football guy.
On that note, it's time for Clear High, Clear Low, presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. So grateful they're on board to partner with us. I have on this awesome hat, which they sent me this hat, and I love this hat. And my son Cameron took it, and he wore it all summer at work. And now it looks like he wadded it up in the corner and left it there.
It should be that way.
Does it look okay?
Yeah, it looks great. It goes with the vintage kind of Academy look.
I love this hat. And right now, Academy did a collab, as the kids say, with Whataburger. So they have an entire line of merch and apparel at Academy Sports and Outdoors. I brought the football. When I was a kid, the NFL teams did these little rubber footballs like this.
Tell me, Uncle Rico.
How
far can you throw it?
I can't help. Well, I could throw it over that mountain. You better bet your ass I could. I'm never going to graduate. And high school football started last weekend here in North Carolina, and we went to see Dominic Morin, Greg's son.
Okay.
Jimmie's former pit coach, Greg Morin, is one of my dearest friends. He's my brother. And his son, Dominic, is a great high school football player, and he's got a bunch of offers to go play in college.
Is it quarterback?
Wide out.
Okay. I was like, wait a second. With
Wide
that
out.
family gene, there's no way it's quarterback.
Just being around the energy of high school football and the band and the community, the way that high school football is this platform for community, and the way that the young men playing the game are representing that community is so important in the fabric of the United States of America. It is a thread in our fabric, and I will never lose that. I won a state championship 30 years ago. 30!
You've gone full Uncle Rico.
I can't help it, man.
Yeah,
It gets me so fired up. And someday I'm going to do an entire documentary series on the power of high school football, because it meant so much to me and to my friends. And I still talk to a bunch of the guys I won that championship with right now on the way in the door today. I was talking to one of them. His name's Bucky Burton. If ever there was an Appalachian name, by God, it's Bucky Burton.
What position did you play?
A lot of different positions. I played defensive back, was my primary role. I returned kicks and punts as well. And so it's just cool, man. You never lose that brotherhood. It's probably similar to when you guys win championships. All those guys that are turning wrenches, that are pitting the car, there is something that's built there within that. It's fundamental. It's the beauty of shared sacrifice. That's the foundation piece of it. And I just love it so much. And so, all right, let's get into Clear High, Clear Low. And we're going to dive into NASCAR. because it was a great Saturday night in Daytona for Legacy Motor Club. You had a couple cars running up front. I told John Hunter Nemechek on the Marty McGee program that he was going to win that damn race. And I thought I was going to look like Nostradamus there for a minute.
My clear high and clear low all took place within like 4 or 5 minutes.
Yes.
I'll lead off with the clear high in this fashion. I am up in the Pye Barker suite. The CEO is there with his board and making the rounds, visiting people and such. End up with this group of guys, just an incredible group of guys, having a beer, teaching them about sport, talking about different elements. And we're inside the suite, and I could see our cars migrate to the front. And I was like, boys, I love the conversation. I'll be back. Grabbed the beer out of the cooler. Their suite had a patio, and there was a rail to the seats. Hopped the rail, sit down, popped a beer, and
in
sat
the
there
grandstands
for 15 laps watching our 2 cars run first and second.
Did you have like an earphone?
No, I'd left that all down at the pit box. I started on pit boxes. But I sat there watching our cars, and it was just, I mean, growing up wanting to be a driver, there were expected experiences that I could, fathom, and when they were there, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is the moment. There's been a couple moments now as a team owner that I've experienced something really amazing that I could have never dreamed of. Finishing third in one of our cars. Like, I would never want to be a car owner. To now be a car owner and watch your cars run 1-2, I mean, it was the most incredible thing. Most incredible thing.
That's such an interesting perspective from the stands.
It was awesome.
It is awesome.
It was awesome.
NASCAR is awesome.
I don't know how many cup races I've ever sat in the stands for.
Probably
I mean,
not
it's
many.
like
'Cause
single
you probably
digits.
didn't go to a bunch as a kid, and then the next thing you know, you're driving them.
It was incredible.
Let me get out my list, because I made a list of a lot of what's going on in the sport right now. And you have an authoritative voice, and we need to tap into that voice. Ryan Blaney wins this race, okay? His first win since June 1st at Nashville, and as a result of that win, Tyler Reddick and Alex Bowman both make the playoff. Had any of those other cars in the top 5 won that race, those guys aren't racing for a title. So obviously, that's huge. And I thought Bowman's reaction was hysterical. Yes. I owe Ryan Blaney 7 million beers. And Blaney goes, that's not, I'll take 5. I'll take 5 million.
A Blaney fan, right here.
I'm a big Blaney fan.
Big.
I love being around him. He's one of those guys that knows exactly who he is. He is so real. He's a genuine article.
Yeah.
And he's just really fun to be around. And he's a damn wheel man, too.
Goes.
And even though
that stat of him not winning for a year or whatever, I mean, he's been knocking on the door and has had some terrible luck, as we all know, but what a stud.
Yeah, he's going to be a problem in the playoff, too. He's going to be a problem. Some of these tracks line, you always talk about your championship run and how the tracks lined up for you.
For sure.
That's kind of the way it is for him, too.
For sure.
Another one of the things that's really interesting is the schedule just got released.
Did it?
It did. I'm glad that you didn't know this. So let me run down. Let me tell you guys one thing about.
I know San Diego is on the list.
Let me tell you guys one thing about team ownership in NASCAR that I'm realizing real time right now is that maybe you don't know shit. Maybe you just don't know a thing about what's going on in your own sport.
I am so overwhelmed and flooded with stuff that
I just like
miss
busting your ass.
Well, no,
it's one of my favorite pastimes.
I deserve it.
Okay, let me run this down for you. So North Wilkesboro is a points race.
I did hear that.
In 2026. Dover's gone. Dover is now the all-star race venue, which
I'm scratching my head on that one.
I don't get it at all. Don't get it at all. And I so hope I'm wrong. Yeah. But I feel like there's going to be 40 people there.
Attendance has been down. The driver experience on that track is top shelf. Like, every driver loves that place.
It was packed. I was there. I was at the Dover race a few weeks ago for SportsCenter. It was packed. So I was really surprised that they took that off the points schedule.
I think in an all-star race, you want to put the drivers in a position to rough each other up. I mean, there's $1 million on the line. It should be 5. But there's, times have changed. It's like in Austin Powers when Dr. Evil wakes up and comes back and says $1 million. Like, it was.
So so wait a minute. Let's dive into this. So you're going to stand on the soapbox and say the all-star race needs to be bumped to $5 million.
Some equivalent, yeah.
I agree because it's lost its luster a little bit. I remember when, like in the early 2000s to mid 2000s, as Charlotte,
What about, yeah. keep
with
going.
those old cars and the humpy
cars
bumps,
and what else? $1 million was
a lot of damn money.
And that's the point I'm trying to make. Humpy would walk around, God rest his soul. Humpy
We're going
Wheeler
to talk about that in a
passed
minute.
away. He'd walk around with fake $100 bills with his face on them and pass them out. Humpy bucks. No, they're $1 million.
$1 million bills.
$1 million bills. And so that element of the money, I mean, it's worth the investment for somebody somewhere.
I agree with you, and I think that that's something that should happen in order to...
And you need a track that somebody will crash the guy in front of them for $5 million.
Agree.
It's not over. I mean, you hurt people there.
And now it's not... I don't feel the same energy that I felt before, and that's because money's changed. Right. Guys are making a lot of money. You have to incentivize them in a way that goes, yeah, I'm going to hang this sumbitch out as far as it'll go, and if somebody else gets dumped, sorry.
Yeah. You know what's interesting, and I just want to clarify real quick, Dover's my favorite track, has been, always will. I just think the All-Star format and the type of racing that takes place on that track.
We're not criticizing Dover.
It's not going to shine the way that an All-Star race, in my opinion, think that it should.
We're not criticizing Dover.
Right.
We're analyzing the fact that I'm not sure that an All-Star race works there unless, to your point, there's such a financial gain for the guys in the seat that it gets gnarly. But you're saying that place hurts.
It does hurt.
So dumping somebody there is big.
It's you really think hard about roughing somebody up there.
And also, because it's so tight, dumping somebody there means you're dumping a lot of people.
Yeah.
Right?
Now, one thing I don't know is at Bristol, they put down the traction compound. So do they put down traction compound in the second groove? Do they have an alternative tire option
Traction
that we don't know about?
compound means grip.
Yes. At Bristol, for those that don't know, at Bristol they took this, it's basically like Coke syrup.
Yeah, right.
And I think there's a chemical version now, but drag racing vehicles have always used it. We spray it down in our pit stalls. And so they put that down at Bristol in the bottom lane, and it's really helped create 2 lanes. Maybe they have a plan that we're not aware of to create 2 lanes, and that would then change my position, and we would need to see it. But the way it races now, I think Denny made a comment around, you need a full tire run to really see, the struggles that happen, and that's when the racing really takes place, just because the track's so fast. The faster you go, the narrower the track gets. The faster you go, the more speed you need to overtake the car in front of you, and Dover is lightning fast.
Interesting. All right, so they've also added the San Diego Naval Base.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Realistic chances that you try to run that race?
Try 100%. That I end up there, 99.9% chance.
What is the what would prohibit that? Financial backing for your car?
If we couldn't sell it,
yeah.
Which I think we'll sell it.
Racing at home. What does that elicit in you when you what emotion does that?
That's a great question.
Evoke in you?
I raced in Jack Murphy Stadium when it used to be there, Chargers Stadium.
That's your Baja truck.
Well, yeah, for the desert, but there was a smaller version of it in the stadiums.
Yeah.
It looked just like that with the paint scheme. I was able to have success there in high school, which was wild, and got out of the vehicle and said party at my house. And it was amazing how many people figured out where I lived. I didn't know. Like everybody in the stands. We had a massive party at our house.
How much cooler were you with the girls after that?
Game changers. I still had no skills. It didn't maximize any opportunities there. But I got out of the car and stood on the roof of this truck, and I just beat Ivan Stewart, and I was like, party at my house. And we didn't think much of it. I mean, we tried to get home that night, and we couldn't even get onto our block. There were so many people there.
Was this Los Coaches Mobile Estates?
No, it was the second place.
You'd migrated,
up to Crest. But the feelings of being home are very unique, and I'll be interested to see how different they feel in San Diego versus being at Fontana, because I've hung my hat on that one. But what's really interesting for me at the new location is my 2 grandfathers and my grandmother are buried just above, overlooking where the track will be.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that'll certainly hit different.
Wow, that's really special.
Yeah.
That's cool.
My mom's father was buried with honors serving in the Navy, and my dad's father and his mother are both in the same area. There at, I think it's North Island, kind of naval, I forget what the cemetery is called, but they're all three right there.
All right, well, whatever.
Actually, all four. What am I thinking? All four are right there.
Whoever,
Yeah.
whoever is on the hook to sponsor that, just go ahead and let's get this done, please. Okay? I'm looking right at the camera, telling them.
It's on.
It's on.
Yeah.
All right, well, we have an amazing guest today here on Never Settle, somebody that has had such a wonderful influence on so many millions of people and in so many different ways. Former Carolina Panthers All-Pro Greg Olsen, now Fox Sports broadcaster in the NFL and a great friend to Jimmie and me. Let's bring him in. Greg Olsen. Thank you for being here. Johnson just broke his arm.
Man, that was a hell of a start.
What'd you hit, dude? The table?
My funny bone, and it's not funny.
Damn.
That was a hell of a start.
That was pretty aggressive. At least you didn't wipe out the bourbon. That would have been a tragedy. Yeah, exactly. Help him out.
Thanks.
All right, I want to start with, I love Christian McCaffrey. I think he's an amazing human being, former teammate of yours. You might have had the best time at his wedding just based on photography. Walk me through that photograph and what Greg Olsen had experienced at that time.
So here's probably the best part about that entire night. Well, there's a lot of things. Anyone who's been around me and has gone out with me and knows, the next day, the public reception would be, if you were there as an outsider
I got to move this. Forgive me for interrupting because, you being a Miami guy, you don't want to
I thought we'd have a better helmet. I don't want to say anything. It's not my show.
Crap.
Everyone would be there and be like, oh my God, Olsen was the most drunk of anybody there. And the reality is, I'm not a huge drinker. I'm a social drinker. I'll have a bourbon with the boys. I'll have a beer. I'm not a huge drinker. But at those events, at weddings, at parties, with my guys, with my friends, karaoke, grab the mic, dance, I will be the sweatiest, wildest, have as much fun, more fun than anybody at the bar. I don't need to have 100 drinks to do it. So that picture that went viral, and everyone's like, oh my God, Olsen, how much did he? The reality was, the picture looked like I was a disaster, and I was. I was sweaty, I was hot, but I wasn't overserved. And that's the reality. I was just in it, and we were in it to win it. We were with the boys. The cool thing about the wedding is so many guys from the Panthers, guys that I knew from San Francisco. It had been years since we had moved on to retire. It was the first time a lot of us had gotten back together in one place for multiple days. Everything was in the hotel. We didn't have to drive anywhere. We didn't have to leave. And there was no cell phones, and it was an absolute blast.
So tell us your favorite moment. I love that photograph so much because, your
the one where I had my
shirt's
shirt was untucked.
Your hair's everywhere. You got 17, like in an 8-button shirt, 4 of them are missing.
Yeah,
meat sauce is just ripping.
So we got a thing with some of the guys where it's like, I need one more button. Like if Jimmie was if we were at the party and Jimmie walked in, we'd be like, nah, Jimmie, I need another button. So it starts with one, but depending on how many guys need another button, I'll take a button, but then if you want a button, as the night goes on, there's not a whole lot of buttons left. So everyone kind of feeds in. We had multiple of our buddies who didn't even have a shirt on. So at least my shirt was on and somewhat buttoned. It's one of the, you're with the guys and stupid stuff becomes really funny. And you look back and you're like, wasn't that? In the moment though, those are the moments that are amazing.
And at least it was NFL guys that are all real ripped and fit. And it wasn't just a bunch of doughboys.
And the ex-NFL guys kept our shirts on. The current guys took them off.
Do you have other moments like that retirement and not being so focused has afforded you?
I think the biggest thing when you ask guys when they retire, the wins and the losses and the catches and the yards and the games, all that stuff's great. It's what makes it all go around. It's what pays the bills. Every guy to a man, and it sounds cliche and it sounds like what you're supposed to say, but the reality is most guys struggle the most with losing the camaraderie, the brotherhood, the guys in the locker room, the stupid jokes, the stupid moments that are impromptu. That is what makes it special, right? Practices are hard, the games are hard. There's a lot of pressure, there's ups and downs, but you always got the guys. You always got the moments in the locker room, the funny things, the pig tournaments, the basketball tournaments, the hard way, that's what guys struggle with the most. And I think a lot of guys search for it. They get it through coaching, they get it through other outlets, because you can't represent that locker room. You can't recreate it in any other form of life. The things that go on there can't happen in a boardroom. It can't happen at a normal company. And that's the beauty of it. So then when those guys do get together and we have those nights out to go to dinner and reconnect, you really cherish it, because when we were all playing, you took for granted, I'll see you tomorrow, and the day after that, and the day after that, for years. Well, now we live on opposite sides of the country. We all have kids of our own. We have other lives now that don't bring us together in a locker room every single day to go to work together. So when you do get together, you try to make the most of it.
It's a little bit like we were talking to Andy Roddick about last week. I was asking him about, I have this thought in my head, and I did a piece for ESPN once called Athletes Die Twice, where you're a football player, by God, that's what you are. You strap up and you knock the hell out of somebody, or you make an amazing catch, or you build up a brother. And then tomorrow, you're not doing that anymore.
Yep.
And the void can be so dramatic. The void can be so overwhelming that for some guys, depression comes with that. Listlessness comes with that. Complete lack of motivation comes with that. And that wasn't Andy's experience. What was yours?
Yeah, so I think what's so unique about professional team sports maybe is that the runway is not as long, right? Maybe in some of the other sports you can get into your 40s, you can go a little bit longer. Yeah. It's such an inverted pyramid for guys coming out of college, right? You get the most money of your life at the earliest of ages, and it's the most intense and then so in the normal world, I graduate college, I am a stupid 20-year-old kid, I make bad mistakes, I'm bad at my job. It's probably the lowest level of your job, the lowest payment, the lowest responsibility. As time goes on, as I improve, I grow, I mature, I have a family, now I'm a dad, now I have kids. As I kind of get my life together, traditional American life is, as you get older, your job becomes more important, more responsibility. You're more prepared for it. You make more money as you go. Our guys are the opposite. They make all their money on the front end. The careers only last a couple years. It's their entire identity. And then all of a sudden it ends at, the statistic is 3.5 years for football. So you factor you're 25.
What now?
Now what, right? So there's the what now. This is my identity. This is my life. This is all I've ever known, which was no different for me than most guys. It's all we ever did. We didn't go to law school. It wasn't like, hey, if football doesn't work out, I'm going to be an attorney. We were football players. That's what we did. And when it's gone, it's hard for guys to reinvent themselves after years and years and years of having their identity wrapped up in what they do.
And that math is now different than it was when you were at the University of Miami as a first-team All-American. Now they're making a lot of money as college players.
They're even less prepared than I was when I signed my rookie contract at 21. They're getting them at 17. They're getting them as high school seniors. And we're expecting them to make good decisions. We're expecting them to stay committed, be good teammates, have good locker room culture. In what world?
Yeah.
What is your perspective on where all of that is in college football?
I think the toothpaste's out of the tube right now. I don't know how we put it back. I think the simplest answer that would at least buy everybody a little time to just reorganize themselves would be, you can have NIL or you can have the transfer portal. You can't have both. The second you take $1, you're at that school for 4 years, whether you like it or not, whether you ever play. If you want to be able to transfer, you can't take the money. That would simplify everything for everybody. If you're a good enough high school recruit that they're going to give you a 4-year contract for $1 million a year, and you have an opportunity as an 18-year-old kid who maybe doesn't come from a lot to get $4 million, $8 million over the next 4 years to go to Oklahoma, I get it. You got to take it. Whether it's the best school for you or not, you got to take it. But you can't leave. You can't take $2 million from Oklahoma and then the next year go to Texas Tech and then the next year go to the highest bidder. We can't have college free agency every single year, and in some cases, 2 cycles per calendar. It's unreasonable. In no other world does it exist.
Yeah, and it's unregulated free agency.
It'd be like an NFL player every single year being able to reshop. If I have a bad year, I'm contractually obligated to the Carolina Panthers because I have a 4-year deal. But the second I make the Pro Bowl, I can re-enter the market and shop my services to everybody else. People would say you're nuts. Well, then why can we do it in college?
I know. It's so broken. I feel like the answer right now, the quickest Band-Aid, may not be the answer, but it's a Band-Aid, is contracts multi-year contracts at a school for the players, because now the players are being paid by the universities after this house settlement, right?
Yep.
So I feel like contracts are vital in order to have some semblance of uniform preparation for a coaching staff. And like, when I say that, sometimes people are like, oh, but Coach X is making $13 million a year and he can leave.
But he gets a buyout.
But he has a buyout.
That's the part no one brings up.
Exactly.
It's a buyout. The school he's going to reimburses you and replaces some of the capital you invested in Coach X when he leaves Duke to go to Texas A&M. There's a buyout. Texas A&M is replenishing the coffers of Duke when they lost Elko a couple years ago. That's not happening with players. I bring in, Jordan Addison that went to Pitt and then he transfers to USC. So I bring in Jordan Addison. He's a 2-3-star kid. He goes to Pitt. I turn him into a Biletnikoff. I don't know if he won it. He won it at USC. He was one of the top wide receivers in America, and then USC gets to buy him away. But I developed him, and if I'm Pitt, I got compensated zero. If Pitt had their head coach stolen by USC and he was under contract, he'd have a buyout. Not that it doesn't suck losing a really good player that you developed, but at least there's something to fill the gap. With the player, there's nothing.
And you think NASCAR's screwy?
Yeah, I mean, this whole thing is just mind blowing. The more we interview people and learn about it, it just blows my mind how unregulated it is. Yeah. Is there, I mean, you guys have both brought up great suggestions. Is there anything like leaning in a direction? Is anything going to happen?
Well, the House settlement now, and Marty obviously follows college sports way more than I do. I follow as a fan. He follows professionally. So you probably have more insight than I do. But the part about the college, the congressional settlement or the House settlement or whatever it was that now dictates a revenue share, which is similar to like an NFL pro model where there's a revenue share that gets divided. Remember, that's not being divided amongst the football team. The athletic department gets to say, okay, over X amount of dollar fund, what percentage goes to football?
20.5 million.
Right? They divide it amongst the revenue generating sports first, and then the non-revenue generating sports are left with the scraps. It won't really move the needle there. So the other part of that conversation that people don't talk enough about, right, is we'll take baseball, for example. Baseball was always 11 scholarships. They could be chopped up and you can make your entire roster, but you had to do it out of 11 scholarships. It's now moving to I think it's 30, say. So it's tripled. But it's only 30 scholarships at LSU, Georgia, Mississippi State, Ole Miss, the baseball
Tennessee.
program, Tennessee, the baseball programs that are revenue generating and have the ability to support 30 times whatever the tuition of that school is and do it. Most schools are going to go, it's 90 grand to go to Miami. We can fund 20.
I think it's deeper than that because I look at Olympic sports and there has to be a way. What's going to end up happening with Olympic sports, in my opinion, is they're going to just go, okay, you athletes, all of you guys, especially in Power 4, are elite runners or elite throwers or elite whatever you are. Go get your own.
Yeah, just go be like an Olympian.
Because,
sign a deal with Kellogg's.
Right. But and all this goes back, like your passion for youth sports.
Yeah. Remember though, here's the part everyone misses about, everyone throws around all this money that's being made in college sports. And it's the top, hey, there's all this money being made. There's all this money being made. The reality is there's all this money being made in a very small section of collegiate sports. It's being made in football at the highest of levels in the Power 4. And not all the Power 4s are profitable. It's most of it's supported by private funding of donors. The SEC schools are printing money, and it is a very small percentage of football programs that make money and a handful of men's basketball programs that make money. And then there's Iowa's girl basketball, I would imagine, made some money over Caitlin Clark's era. UConn probably makes money in girls basketball. That's about it. So remember, college sports is not just SEC football, right? Like those same schools are playing women's soccer, women's lacrosse, field hockey, boys soccer. They're playing sports that are rowing,
swimming,
on and on, track and field, all sports that kids deserve to have a chance to go to college for and to compete at the level. But everyone thinks that there's all of this money. The money is so concentrated in such a small section, predominantly in football. And even of the, 130 Division I schools, however many there are now, less than half of those schools are profitable. So like this notion that there's like all this endless amount of money and we need to spread it amongst all the players, football's making money and a couple schools make money in men's basketball. All that needs to support the entire ecosystem.
That's the programs. In order for the programs to get players, they have to shell out money. I went to Radford University, okay? We're talking the lowest level of Division I athletics, and we're paying players well.
But that's all being paid out of private donors.
Correct, it is.
Two different
We
things.
don't have a TV deal. There is no TV deal.
Remember, there's two separate pots to all of this. There's the athletic budget. There's the budget that's being generated through the athletic department, mostly through TV contracts, apparel deals, merchandise, ticket sales, etc.
Mostly TV.
Mostly TV. The TV drives everything. That's why the West Coast schools are moving east, coming into the Big Ten. They're not literally moving east. They're joining more Eastern time zone, Central time zone games because nobody wants to play on the West Coast. The TV deals are better. Everything's driven by TV, professional sports, college sports. But remember, we still need, I have a daughter who runs track and field. Like, should she not have a chance to go play college girls track? She absolutely should. So like, we have to keep in mind that we're not just trying to support the men's football team. And I'm a football guy, like, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm a football guy, I know it pays the bills. But we should have the opportunity for everyone else to. The system is just flat out broken. But the notion that there's like this unlimited pool of money that we can pay to every athlete across every level of sport in all areas of the country is just absurd. It's nonsense.
So what do you see? I mean, coaching middle school. By the way, alongside Luke Kuechly and Stu.
And Todd Blackledge.
This is not fair.
And my dad.
How is this fair that you three who are, and I'm going to say this is my opinion. I'm biased because you're my friend. And I love Luke and I love Stu. Three of the best to ever do it. I mean, if you look at the pool of NFL players all time, those are three like really, really accomplished players. And you guys are coaching.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. Here's what I'll say. What we did in our careers has no bearing on are we good coaching a middle school football team. There's no bearing. I've seen some really, really good players that are terrible coaches. And I've seen some really guys that never played a minute of a sport who are some of the best coaches in the business at any level. So what we did it's not about, we say to the kids all the time, this is not a contest between us and the other coaches to who knows the most. Our job is how much can we get the kids to know? How much can we get the kids to absorb? What can we teach in a age-appropriate manner to let them go be the best versions of 7th and 8th grade football players that they can be? That's the trick of all of this. Everyone, even high school coaches, everyone wants to be a guru. Everybody wants to have the fanciest plays, but nobody teaches anybody how to get in a stance. Nobody teaches anybody how to step with the correct foot. Before we worry about putting in plays and being super fancy, don't get me wrong, we got some good stuff. We can manipulate the teams. We can set formations to make it a conflict on the defense. There's some things we can do to manipulate the game in advantage of our kids. But at the end of the day, the kids are what do it. We're standing on the sideline. If we can't get them to do it, it doesn't matter how much I know. It doesn't matter how many passes I caught. I'm not going to catch any passes in the game on Thursday against Country Day. We got to get, how much can we bring out of our kids? How do we get those kids to believe they're capable of so much more than anyone ever up to this point has ever asked of them? That's what we do. And that's what we do better than anybody else.
I love this.
How fulfilling has that journey been?
It's my favorite thing that I do.
Amazing.
If you put a gun to my head tomorrow and said you can only do one thing with your life, I love broadcasting games. I love calling games. I love the action of the NFL. It's what I've known. It's my life. I'll never stop being involved coaching the kids stuff because...
What makes it so fulfilling?
Here's what makes it so fulfilling. We get these young kids. Now, we're still pre-high school, right? So we're working our way up through middle school now. We're getting these, 12 to 14-year-old boys that come in, and football is a unique sport because for a lot of kids that try out for the basketball team in high school or in middle school, they've played basketball before. Regardless of how good they are, they've been on a basketball court on a team in some capacity. The kids who try out for the middle school baseball team, you've played baseball, rec, travel, competitive, not. You've played the sport to some degree. Girls soccer. No one really tries out for the girls soccer team and goes, I've never seen a soccer ball. They might not have played on the greatest team in Charlotte, but they've played in a rec league, they've played somewhere. Most of the kids, the vast majority of the kids that we coach have never put on a football helmet.
Wow.
They have never put on a football jersey. They have never put on shoulder pads. They don't know where their knee pads go. They don't know what a girdle is. Like, we are teaching, we joke like we teach lunch. Like, we're teaching everything.
Do you know what a chest protector is?
Oh, God. Greg, before you got here.
Like a racing chest protector?
Before you got here, man, I was all fired up because I love high school football.
It's the best.
That was the highest I went. I wasn't good enough to play in college. I wasn't fast enough. I wasn't big enough. But I was one of those guys in high school football that fucking loved it. And I still love it. And I won a state championship. And those guys that I won that state championship with, I still talk to.
Of course.
It is a thread in the fabric of the United States of America, high school football.
Question.
And I'm going off on this whole Uncle Rico tangent about throwing it over that mountain and grabbing the steak and hitting Napoleon in the face. And
Coach wouldn't want me, we won state.
Yes. Johnson goes, oh yeah, man, putting on the helmet and the chest protector. I'm like, they're called shoulder pads, asshole.
Come on, Jimmie. Yeah, but if he told me what he's wearing.
Motocross, it's called a chest protector.
It looks damn near the same.
Yeah.
In fairness, I want to get back to the high school sports thing in a second. But to answer Jimmie's question, the most fulfilling aspect of all this and the greatest feeling is we get these kids, they're wide-eyed. In a lot of ways, they're very hesitant. They've heard all these stories about football. They've heard all these stories about kids getting hurt, and they've heard all this stuff. And we get them in the beginning, and they're hesitant. And we ask them to do things, and the parents and the coach and the kids look at us like we're nuts. They're like, we can't do that. I'm like, yes, you can. And we're gonna make you do it every single day. And you're gonna mess up, and we're gonna wear you out, and we're gonna do it, and we're gonna do it, and we're gonna do it. And 3 months later, when the season ends, parents look at us, and the kids look at us, and they're like, oh my God, like I never realized my kid can do that. I'm like, yeah. Because it's the adults that limit what the kids are asked to do. I was going to say, the beauty
of it is that the young person goes, I can do that.
And we feed it into them. We say, we wouldn't coach you this hard if you couldn't do it. Trust us. You might not do it now. You can do this. And every time you reach that next, we're going to move that carrot further and further away, and you're going to keep chasing it.
I'm ready to go play for...
I can feel this coming.
I'm ready to go, baby.
How does inside that helmet look like? Is it?
It's kind of nasty.
Okay. It's got any real pads? Like, is that?
It has some pads, but you're younger than me. We had those Rydell pads that were those little, the row of pads, and it's kind of that.
Let me see the inside.
This isn't helping a lot of craniums.
Yeah, that's what my high school helmet looks like. Yeah.
It's probably a faux helmet. I mean, I did a helmet swap.
Looks like
it's a little bit of a faux helmet.
Who's that signed by?
Stoops.
Bob Stoops.
Oh, that's a good one. So that would be the easiest answer. There's so many different aspects, right? Football's hard. We've been practicing all summer. We ask our kids all June, all July, all August. It's 3 days a week. It's hot. It's 100 degrees. We're on turf. It's football in the South. We haven't played a game yet. We practiced for the first time in May. We started practicing at the end of last school year. The last 2 weeks of school, we would do after school football workouts just to introduce the kids. They were doing football as sixth graders, have gone through the entire summer.
You guys keep talking. I'm gonna get us some ice for a bourbon.
And are now seventh graders. They haven't even played a game yet. It's hard.
What was it like? So the thing that intrigues me the most as it pertains to you, Luke and Jay Stu, what is the patience level required when you're an expert and you're trying so hard to impart
it's hard
world-class wisdom on someone who doesn't know anything?
It's challenging, right? I spend all my time with the offense.
Joe Boo, bartender.
I spend all my life with the offense and defensive line, right? And in my brain, I'm like, how come you guys don't understand a double team to the backside backer? It's counter. We're going to leave the end and the front side overhang. The first puller is going to kick out second. So why don't you know where the double teams go? Like, I don't get it. Like, guys, this isn't that hard. And then I'm like, they don't even know what I'm talking about.
It's a foreign language. Everything you just said is a foreign language to 99% of the world.
We build in our rules that
including
are like
Johnson.
Idiot proof. We build in these rules that are, we don't coach football. We coach middle school football. It's not what I would do if I was coaching high school. It's not what I would do if I was coaching. This is the foundational model of what is a drive step? What is a kick step? What is a reach block? Where's my hat? When I say hat placement, what is that? Like, where am I putting my helmet? How do we strike when we tackle?
Love the passion? Don't you just love with passion?
There's so much to teach them, and that's the fun part, right? Like, we are responsible for teaching them everything. So when it looks good, it's fulfilling. When it looks bad, it's on us. Like, we are responsible. There's a saying in the NFL, like, you're either coaching it or you're allowing it. Anything that shows up on film, you're either being told to do it or allowed to do it, good or bad. At the younger level, it's that times a million.
So I'm going to take a note. That's a
really good line.
Statement.
We are coaching.
You're either coaching it or you're allowing it.
If I see a guy dog it on the back side of a play, or he doesn't run to the ball, or whatever it is, whatever I see happen during a game, there's only two options. He's being coached to act like that, good or bad, or he's being allowed to act like that. There is no other option. If it's the wrong behavior, he's either being allowed to do it or he's being coached to do it. There's no third option.
You're right. There is no third option.
You're an incredible broadcaster, man.
Thank you.
As someone who does it and kind of understands the nuance of the business, there's a lot more to it than folks at home can see. There's a lot more study. There's a lot more acumen. What for you is the most fulfilling piece of transitioning to that 2.0 moment of your life in the broadcast booth?
The most fulfilling moment, and there's actually a lot of correlation to what I've learned from coaching the young kids to doing that job. I'll get to that in a minute. The most fulfilling moment, the moments are like when someone says, I watched your game last week and I left that game saying, oh my God, like I've never heard, that makes a lot of sense. I didn't realize that's what was going on. No one's ever told me that before. I can't wait to watch next week's game and see what I learn. If that's what people get from our game, that's what I like. And again, every broadcaster has their own style. Some guys are funny, some guys are whatever. There's a lot of ways to do the craft. And I'm not saying my way is the best way. It's the only way I know. Like, we're teachers. We're teaching the game. We are advocates of the game of football to millions and millions of people every Sunday afternoon. We are responsible for portraying the game of football in a positive light, in the real light, in education, in gamesmanship, in strategy, in what's going on in the huddle, what's going on in the headset, what's the left tackle doing, why is the corner, like, there's so many cool things to teach, but we have to do it in a way that I'm not talking to a locker room full of NFL players.
You're talking
and that's where being a middle school football coach, as stupid as it sounds, like,
Correlates.
I need to coach middle school. I can't talk to the middle school kids like I do at Luke. When I talk to Luke and I'm like, hey, this week, when we play cover 3, do we want to have our slot carry the seam so that we can bring front side pressure? Luke knows what I'm talking about. We would never say that to the kids. They have no idea what we're talking about. But how me and Luke would talk, and me and Stu, is not how we talk to the kids. It's a little bit of a similar, how can I get that same message Luke and I would discuss? How can I get that to millions of homes, all certain different levels of football acumen, in an easy, quick, digestible nugget that they go, huh, that's really interesting.
How long did it take for you to have that internal pride of when you first sat in the booth and started to knowing you were delivering that message correctly?
I think I'm a teacher by heart. I grew up the son of 2 teachers. My dad was the high school football coach. I grew up in the locker room. I grew up around his team. Friday nights were the story of our lives. I never dreamed about being a college football player, never even thought about playing it for a living one day. Our goal as young kids, it was all boys in our house, 2 brothers, one only a grade above me, and then 10 years between my younger brother and I. The only thing we ever dreamed about was one day playing for my dad's high school football team on Friday night in Wayne, New Jersey. Public high school, it's the only thing we ever cared about. So like the game of football, on Monday nights when I was a little boy, my mom would drop us off there. Mondays we were off of like our Pop Warner or whatever we were playing. Monday nights was my dad's late night at school. He would go to school all day as a teacher. He would do practice after school with his team. And then Monday nights was game planning night. So him and the coaches would get food, go up into my dad's office, and depending on the significance of the game, they were there till midnight, they were there till whatever the night entailed. We would beg my mom, let us go over by dad in the office. And we would sit there and we would watch football. We'd watch tape. I'd hear my dad and his coaches talk. Like, it's all I grew up around. So like, I think I've just inherited the idea of like, I love talking the game of football. I love advocating for the game of football. I love teaching the game of football. And whether that's to a bunch of 7th and 8th grade boys that I just came here from, sweat my ass off, trying to teach them how to block counter, or to millions of people on a broadcast, it's not much different.
It's wild.
Football's
Delivering
football.
the message is so hard to do. And as a competitor for so long in my sport, and now as a team owner, you know, I had a small role in our organization at Hendrick when I was in the 48 car for all those years. And it was very easy for a small 10, 15 man crew to deliver a message.
Yep.
But from a company standpoint, I'm in this transitional state right now where I grew up around racing. I grew up in a deeper level of the mechanical piece of it, not the personal piece of it, not trying to connect to people and educate them. And it's wild because I relate so much to what you've explained from a place of not getting it right now, and that's a journey I'm on.
Yeah, and I joke all the time. I know football. I know football well. I still don't know all about TV. There's a lot of what I do behind the scenes that, like I joke with my producer, I don't know if I asked for the right replay. They call it a sky, a pit, a frame, an ISO. I don't even know what they're talking about. I want the receiver on the left side. Whatever you technical guys call it, as long as the receiver on the left side shows up on my telestrator, I'm cool. I want it from behind the defense. You call it the pit.
It's called a telestrator.
The telly is like what we draw on. That's what you see.
In my world, that doesn't exist,
Yeah.
man. I'm out there in the wilderness. He's in there with air conditioning and heat.
No,
and
not in some cities.
I'm wearing
I'm
a
sweating
tie.
my ass
I'm
off.
wearing a tie, too.
My tie is coming off as the game unfolds because I'm sweating. Yeah, so like there's always this element of the art of learning, right? Like I'm still very much in the depth. I don't ever think it stops, but I'm very much in the deep end of the art of learning television. I know the football part. You throw out plays, I could give you 10 different nuggets. Something I've had to learn was picking out which nugget mattered because I don't have time to give you everything that I see. That was a transition early on in the broadcasting where on any given play, I could find 5 really fascinating things to talk about. You want to talk about the ball? I'll talk about the quarterback and his read and his drop and what he saw at a backside corner and why the receiver broke his route off. But I could also show you the running back pick up a really interesting blitz scheme and how the linemen in the back work together in a 6-man pass protection. You want me to talk about the defensive end? I can talk about, like there's a million things to talk about, but you got to pick one. That's always a challenge for me because I think it's all cool.
Yeah.
I think your brain's firing, so you get a log.
It fires too much, and you have to simplify.
42, 44?
40.
40.
Just turned 40 in March. Don't put more years on me here, Johnson.
Buddy.
Damn. All right.
We're old.
I'm
He's
realizing
not.
how old I am.
Even.
Even. Did you have a big party?
We went to dinner here in town with some buddies.
Love it.
Probably had too many old fashions at Steak 48, but it was
Happens.
Great. So the
not
journey,
apologizing.
the journey at 40. I would assume when you were coming up through football and you'd look at somebody that's 40 and you're like, damn, that guy's old. You're now 40.
Yeah.
You still have this insatiable desire to learn. Our show's called Never Settle. That this is a space we find ourselves in, and we're just always, he and I, that's where this whole thing came about, is we just drink some bourbon and get into a deep conversation, and we wanted to
I love this. I
create
could do
this.
this all night.
Like, why haven't you settled?
It's a great question. The age thing I think is super interesting because age in football and age in the real world are vastly different.
Correct.
When I turned 30, in the football world, I was ancient. But what was so interesting about the trajectory of my career, which again, everybody has their different journey and no two journeys are the same. what was interesting about my journey was I didn't really get like good. I was fine. I was an NFL starter. So I wasn't gonna get cut, but I wasn't like really good until year like 6. I didn't make my first Pro Bowl.
And 3.5 is the average?
I got drafted in 2007. I made my first Pro Bowl in 2014. Then I made it in 14, 15, 16. And like I had my best years later in my career, post 30. Why? I don't know. I think I've never been in any one moment in time, I probably was never the best athlete, the best player. I probably was, since I left high school, as a high school football player, I was probably the best player. High school basketball, I was not. Track and field, I was not. In college, I definitely wasn't. Early in my NFL career, I definitely wasn't. Like, I was never that guy. But like, as other guys would fall off, like, it was always like, Olsen just keeps coming back. And every time he comes back, he's a little bit better than he was, and a little bit better than he was, right? The art of like perpetual growth, I think, was always my strength. At any one moment in time, if we froze my career, I'm not sure if I was ever the best at what I did. But over long periods of time, anyone who was better than me was never better than me ever again. It was like different guys had to be better, and like cumulatively, you know what I'm saying? So like, that was just the way I was. So like, it all comes down to, I have an insatiable desire to learn. I like trying new things. I joke with my wife, like, I feel like I have pretty good self-awareness. Like, no one knows their shortcomings more than me. Like, I know I'm nuts. I know my brain is nuts. I know I get obsessive. So like, I don't need my wife to tell me, like, I got it. I know what I am. But like, I don't know how else to be. Like, it's just the way I am, and it's what's allowed me to just learn and dive into things with everything I have. And whether I'm 40 or 50, I don't think I'll ever try to go become a really good golfer. Like, I don't know, like, I got so many things that I want to do. Like, I have to stay stimulated and motivated and pouring into something. And right now it's my broadcasting. Professionally, it's my broadcasting, and then personally, obviously, as a dad and whatnot, and coaching the kids stuff.
So I know one other big passion of yours is your philanthropic journey, and clearly it hits close to home for you. And I've been out of town for a couple of years, and I can't wait to get involved and support more.
It's great to have you back, by the way.
Dude, I'm so happy.
I got the text from him it was like I landed on the moon. I was like, you're back? I felt like I needed to like reintroduce myself.
We had a great window of time of hanging.
We hung a lot, and then you decided to, hey, everyone's got their own journeys and paths. I get it.
Totally.
But I'm happy to have you back.
So glad to be back.
That's worth.
And I can't wait to catch up with I can't imagine how big kids are.
Big.
And I mean, I know where mine are. We just got
I just met your daughter, and it was like I was talking to a 19-year-old. I said, what grade are you in? She's like,
I'm
Lydia. I'm in 6th grade. I was like,
like,
she's asking me questions. So when did you leave country? I mean, it was like I was being interviewed. I was like, you're amazing. You should be on TV. But anyway, well, we're happy to have you back. Let's just say that.
Glad to be back. How is the family? How is your family? And where's everybody
good.
at?
You know, you mentioned the charity. What's really funny, again, it's amazing how things end up aligning. I got here to Charlotte in 2011. I got traded from Carolina. I got traded from Chicago to Carolina. I spent 4 years in Chicago. I had a good start to my career. Like, never made a Pro Bowl. I was a good player. I was a starter. We went to the NFC Championship. I was fine. I wasn't great. I was fine. Got traded here 2011. Kind of a bounce back year. 2010, they didn't have a great season in Carolina. Got traded here in 2011. We were like 6 and 10. Got better. We only won 2 games the year before. That offseason of 2012, we found out that our son TJ was going to be born with his congenital heart defect, and we had just had our first son in June of 2011, right before I got traded here. And I always say it is not a coincidence that from the year, so TJ was born October, my twins, TJ and Talbot, were born October of 2012. That next season, that 13 season, after we caught our breath, his first open heart surgery was at 2 days old. His second heart surgery was at 5 months old. There was a lot going on in our house then. We had 2 young newborns and a toddler, heart surgeries. we'd be in the hospital for 45 days in a row following the twins' birth, but our baby daughter was home with our toddler. TJ was at Levine Children's down the street from the stadium. I would sleep at the hospital, drive to the stadium, come back to the hospital. There was days where I'd go 3-4 days and never step foot in my house. I say all of that to say it is not a coincidence in my mind that in 2013 and then 2014 and then 2015 and 16 is my career took off, because I think for the first time in a long time, maybe the first time ever, when I was at home, I had to be dad husband 150%. Before that, was I? Football always ran my life, and thankfully I was married to my wife who understood that at an
still married
age.
too.
I'm still married. She was my college girlfriend. She knew me from the beginning. She knew my personality, how committed I was. So that was, but it wasn't until we came around now as parents, and especially parents of a son who needed a lot of attention and a lot of time, that my ability to be dad, husband, and then my ability when I would go to the facility in the afternoon or for a full day of work, it was like, thank God. It was my escape. It was I had to be there. I took great pride in like.
Such a perspective shift,
It was such a perspective shift.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, my career was fine. I started to rise. The team obviously started to rise, which always helps. And we went on to have a really good run of stretch. But it's not a coincidence to me that as my personal life got more difficult, my professional life got better.
But why?
And you
Why
also,
is that not a coincidence to you?
being captain of the team also was in that same trajectory as well.
All of that.
Yeah, he wore the C.
I think
Over somebody that's kind of popular.
I think perspective was a big part of it. I think forever football was what I did. I don't even know if I consciously even thought about why. I just never remembered a day that I didn't do it. And now when reality hits you and real world problems hit you, like the worst part of my day growing up from as a kid, as a high school kid, as a college kid, was like I dropped 2 passes. I only had 1 catch. I lost a game. That was the end of the world for me. It was like the living and dying with every single game. And then all of a sudden it was like, yeah, you guys want to have a bad day? I just watched my kid get his heart surgery at 2 days old. You want to talk about a bad day? Probably for the first time in a long time, it was like, I get to go to work. I can't wait to go back to practice. I'm tired of sitting in this freaking hospital. I want to go back and do something. Like, it was my outlet. It was my safe haven. It was my place to like disconnect from what was waiting for me at home and just go play. Whether I consciously knew it in the moment or I can look back on it now, I don't really know. But like, that would be my guess, is like, when I was at practice or I was at a game, I was like, oh my God, this is a relief.
Full intensity.
It was the easiest part of my day, because what was waiting for me at home was worse. It was hard. Maybe not worse. It was more serious is probably the best way to put it.
Yeah, it makes me think of Ernie Johnson saying, I have a get-to job, not a got-to job.
There you go.
What an amazing perspective.
Yeah.
One thing that I wanted to share was, you know how many random times I call you and just like get into some deep shit? We have had that same thing too.
I mean, that's who he is. That's it's why I appreciate you so much.
Through different moments
and he's so present, which
especially
is a
towards
rare
the end of playing.
Yeah.
We had a lot of conversations.
A lot of conversations about that transition and what it looks like. And listen, I'm also a big believer that there's something about sharing. Like, it's so easy in today's world to share all your positives, right? It's easy for you to look around and say, look how many trophies I won. I'm one of the greatest drivers in history of the sport. It's so easy. Everyone is so willing to share their highlights. You share your kid's home run on Facebook. You share your kid, congratulations to my honor society. My kid got accepted to Clemson. Like, it's such a highlight-driven world. It's so fun and easy to share when your life is great. Everyone always shares the best version of what they're doing.
Fake book.
I'm also a big believer, like, I'm the first to admit, like, I do a lot of stupid shit.
Me too.
There's a lot of things that I'm not proud of about how I've handled with my own kids. I'm not proud of my own career, things that I wish I could go back in time and be like, I could have been better. I could have been better quicker. I'm okay with that. Like, that's fine. I think we share so much about our son's journey and our family struggles with all of that. Not that it does anything for him, but like A, we can help so many other people. But B, there's a willingness to be like, listen, man, life ain't all rainbows.
Yeah.
Life's hard. And that's okay.
And how do you handle that?
It's okay.
It's okay, and how are you going to get through it? Yeah.
How speaking of hard, let's jump into the Brady thing. I know you guys just had a great conversation. I listened to it. I can't imagine. All right, there are a few professions that are more ego driven than ours. Television is an ego factory. So you are championed at the absolute highest level for the work that you produced with an Emmy in a field that is very, very loaded with talent. And then you find out moments later, moments figuratively, but very soon thereafter, that the job for which you've been celebrated and in fact broadcasted the absolute pinnacle of the industry, the Super Bowl, we're gonna move on to somebody else. I would love to know, how do you, what was that for you?
Yeah, I think how I view it now and over the last, say, 12 months, and again, I'll be honest, is very different than how I probably viewed it in the moment. And I say that by saying, like,
were you pissed at first?
Of course. Right, like, and again, I make sure I'm very clear when I get asked about this. Like, I have zero personal animosity towards Tom. Me and Tom have a better relationship now than we did prior to him entering television. We had a professional-ish, we had no real intimate knowledge. We crossed paths, we played each other, we had respect for each other, we talked loosely one off season about trying to play together and whatnot, but like, it was strictly professional. Tom's a guy right now, if I texted him right now and said, hey man, I got a question about my daughter, I got to take my daughter on a trip, he would text me back in 30 seconds as a dad, as a friend, as just a dude. That's what we've built over the last 12 months. So I wish him no ill will. I say all of that because I say that to then say, professionally, no different than I'm sure for him or for any of us, there is a level of competitiveness that allows any of us to exist in what we do.
Yeah.
When you had a young driver come join Hendrick.
It's a dog-eat-dog world.
Hendrick, are you going to be supportive? Are you going to give him advice? Of course. Do you want him to beat you in the Coca-Cola 600?
Hell no.
Hell no. And that's not because you don't like him. You're not going to try to spin him out. You're not going to try to ambush, sabotage his career. But you're going to try to beat him.
Yep.
We came from that world. So just as I would expect someone to try to take my job when I was a tight end, and it was my job to not let them, that is the world we've all lived in. So that's not new to me. In the moment, is your ego hit? Sure. The unique nature about the way the whole thing went down was I hadn't yet called the Super Bowl.
Oh, so I'm sorry. I thought it was after that.
So
I'm sorry.
So Tom signed a futures deal in essence that he was going to play one more year and then come into broadcasting. So I got promoted from the 2 crew with my partner, Kevin Burkhart.
Who's a stud.
Who's a stud of a
dude.
Love
that guy.
A stud of a dude and obviously very good at what he does. So then we got Fox's A crew and that was their Super Bowl year. Right before the Super Bowl, Tom was very upfront and honest, and from the beginning, we all were on the same page. He retired from football. He was going to take one more year, and he was going to start the following year. So I stayed in that seat for 2 years. When I signed the deal to be the A crew, I knew Tom was coming at some point. Was it 1 year? Was it 2 years? That was the only part that was left. So in fairness, I entered it with eyes completely wide open. And my goal, now, would I have rather them in the moment say, hey, you're our number 2 crew, promote me and Kevin together and sign us to 10 years? Of course. Kevin got signed. I knew I was the placeholder. I knew that from the beginning. There was no false intentions. There was no lying. Like, Fox was very honest. We had very direct conversations. I entered it knowing it might be a 1-year deal. It ended up being 2. And no different than in anything else in my life, I said, you know what? I'm going to do my best to make this as hard as possible for them to one day take my seat away. I knew they were going to do it, unless Tom, I guess, just in theory, could have said he's not coming, but that was on Tom's side. He was coming at some point in my mind. When? I didn't know. I had no control over it. So once your ego subsides and you say, well, why did they just hire me from the beginning? he's Tom Brady. Like, I get it. I don't live in La La Land. If I could hire Tom Brady to be anything, I would sign him. I would just figure out what his job is. Like, he is one of those personalities, and rightfully so. He's earned that. My role in the entire thing was to be as good as humanly possible, call a great Super Bowl, playoff run, Thanksgiving, playoffs, and then Super Bowl. I was fortunate enough to be able to do it again, obviously ended at the NFC Championship because we didn't have the Super Bowl the next year, and then let the chips fall where they may. So, you know, we stress all the time with our kids, right? We're in a processes-driven world. We're not in an outcome-driven world. And it's easy to say, and it's easy to talk about, but it's harder to do. It was my only choice. It was just go be as good as you can. And if you go back to the B crew, I'm still love my partner Joe and Pam. I'm gonna try to be really, really good again. And like, just because that's my time slot and just because that's my game, it's a lower game, even though we get great games. Like, I don't control what game they send me to, but I'm gonna be damn good at it if I have anything to do with it. Like, it's the only option you have, or you can quit.
Yeah.
I thought it was so cool. Sorry, Jimmie, real quick. I thought it was so cool that Tom said to you on your podcast, I don't give a damn about any of this.
Yeah.
I care that you and I are good.
And we've always been good.
I care that you respect me as a man. I respect you as a man. We're friends. And if I have that in my heart and my soul, the outside can say whatever they want to say or feel however they want to feel.
What bothered me the most through all of the speculation leading up to Tom coming, and this is the God's honest truth, I don't even know if I've ever said this before. What bothered me the most was how the story was covered, was that it was presented in a way that there was a personal animosity between me and Tom.
And that didn't exist.
It didn't exist.
Never at one moment.
So that was the clickbait thing that was
Ever.
out there the whole time.
And again, maybe could I have said things at certain times that were taken
they're just
as that?
pulling what they want.
Maybe. But in my heart, at no time, I wanted Tom to do well. I wanted Kevin Burkhardt to do well, and Aaron Andrews and Tom Rinaldi. Like, those are all my friends. Like, those are my people. I spent 2 years with them. Like, me and Tom, through all of this, have had a very positive, healthy, personal and professional. There's times where we talk broadcasting and we talk NFL landscape and we talk philosophy and coaching style. And there's times we talk raising teenage daughters and where to take our family on vacation and whatever, just life stuff. I'm proud of that. Like, that's valuable to me. I don't ever want any of the other stuff to ever come between that with me and any of my coworkers. Kevin Burkhardt and Tom and Aaron, and now my partners Joe Davis and Pam Oliver. Like, I want to have very positive relationships with all of my colleagues. That doesn't mean I don't want to be great. It doesn't mean we all don't have personal aspirations. That's healthy. We all should have personal aspirations. But my success is not contingent on anyone else's failure. I can be really good, and you guys can be good too. That doesn't mean I'm less good. I think we live in a society where for me to be good, you have to be bad.
Well, what happens is this, forgive me for interrupting. I am very intentional about living in a gratitude mindset instead of a comparison mindset. Because if you live in a comparison mindset, you're forsaking the blessing of the opportunity.
Yep. And I'm not going to sit here and say that.
And there's so much
Yeah,
comparison.
I fall into it. No, we all do. But if you can
It's
pull
so
yourself
much
out of it.
comparison today.
Oh, trust me, I find myself comparing myself a lot. When our TV ratings come out, I want our ratings to be higher than everyone else. Should I? Is that hell? I don't know. Whatever. It is what it is.
Being an athlete.
When I was a player, did I look at the box scores after every game and say, how many yards did Jason Witten have? How many yards did Tony Gonzalez have? A young Rob Gronkowski? Yeah. Yeah. Now, did that mean I wanted them to drop 4 passes? No. But did that mean that I wanted to have more catches and yards than them? Yeah. That's the nature of the business.
That's being a competitor.
Yeah. So, like, I'm glad you brought it up because I value that, and it means a lot to me that as I sit here today saying I still have personal aspirations within the industry, that is not to come at the expense of anyone, both obviously at Fox, who was bold enough to take a shot at me when I had proved nothing. I called the game for Fox in 2017 on a bye week in a 3-man booth with Kevin Burkhardt and Charles Davis. on a bye week in Minneapolis. I don't know, the Vikings played, I don't remember who they played. I was a current player on my bye week, one of the first current players ever to do it. I did it again in 2019 as a current player on my bye week. And then they hired me in 2020, knowing I was going to play a year in Seattle during COVID. They hired me to a contract that was ready and signed and done in anticipation of me retiring. Like, they have been as big a believer in me before anybody else, and I'll always be grateful for that. So when I say my aspirations are to continue to call great games and all that, that's not because I wish ill will on Fox. That is not because I wish ill will on any of the people, on Tom or... That is a unique journey of myself, completely independent of anybody else. And if I was them, that's what I would want. I don't want my backup quarterback to be content being a backup. I want a backup quarterback that's trying to beat out the starter, because that's good for the team. That doesn't mean I want the starter to blow his ACL out, but I'm going to prepare every day like I'm the starting quarterback as the backup. And as a team, that's what I want. I look at my role no different.
I feel like this story is, it's going to be the silver lining someday on such a major level. Like the heart and soul and the intent behind all this, your honesty behind it. There's more to come from this. And
I certainly hope
the story's
that's the
not
case.
over. Yeah.
Yeah, and I certainly hope that's the case. How everything plays out, I don't think anybody knows. I think, and obviously you both know this firsthand, like high-level competitive broadcasting, journalism. I don't consider myself a journalist by any regard, but like broadcasting, media, whatever you want to call it, like there's 5 jobs. There's 5 top jobs. There's the 4 major networks, and there's Amazon, and that's it. There's the entire world competing for 5 jobs in football. There's 5 jobs. There's Amazon, there's Fox, there's CBS, there's ABC, ESPN, and there's NBC. There's 5. And they're all taken by guys that are really good at what they do. That's the way it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
But they're all looking for good people.
Yeah.
People with heart and soul.
And I'm 40.
40.
Sorry.
So I have, I look at myself saying I can do this for 25 years, God willing.
I wanna, and we've kept you way too long. But
my wife is happy that I'm gone.
I'm sure she is at 8:15 at night. I want to back up to that locker room brotherhood and just talk Cam for a second. His jersey's going to get retired,
Which is awesome.
Number's going to get retired at Auburn, which is somehow, I don't know how, polarizing, because he only played 1 year at Auburn.
I don't care if he played there
He
for
won
3 days.
the Heisman, a national championship, every major individual award you can do, and by God, he put War Damn Eagle on his back and carried him.
He had the single greatest college football season in the history of college football. Take Joe Burrow, Tim Tebow, those guys are awesome. Manziel, those guys are awesome. Not one offensive player off that team played 1 down of NFL football.
One other guy got drafted.
Wow.
I think the left tackle got drafted.
He got drafted to the Panthers with Cam, never played it down.
Yep.
Darius, Marcel Darius.
Marcel Darius was from Alabama.
But he played at Auburn.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm almost positive there was a defensive tackle from Auburn from that team that was drafted in like the top 10.
Okay. Marcel Darius is the guy that broke Colt McCoy's shoulder in the
Was he at
national
Alabama?
championship
So
game.
maybe it was a different guy. Regardless, there was a defensive guy that was a real top draft pick that was an NFL guy. On the offensive side of the ball, the national championship Auburn team did not have one guy other than Cam to play 1 down of NFL football. That's virtually impossible.
So
It's virtually impossible.
I'm a huge Cam guy.
As am I.
And have been forever and ever. And not just because of the player, but I know, or at least have some idea of things he did in the community here in Charlotte that he didn't care about being publicized. He went and did them. But I want to know about the guy you played with. I heard him even say recently that of all that he's achieved, people still look at him as a guy that didn't jump on the fumble in the Super Bowl. I want you, as somebody who lived with him every day and was between the lines with him and outside the lines with him, give us a picture, paint us a picture of, for you guys, who this person is and what he means to you.
Yeah, and we'll get to the fumble thing because obviously that gets brought up a lot. I think the best way to describe Cam, in a lot of ways, and this is just the truth, I would say that if he was sitting next to me, in a lot of ways, he loved the spotlight. He loved the attention. He loved the pressure of being the man. It fueled him. He lived for it. It made him who he was. And I say that in a really positive, I don't say that in like a condescending tone or in a selfish, it was who he was, it fueled him. He knew the bigger the spotlight, the more people looking at me, good. A lot of people, the spotlight, they wither, right? Like it's like, no, keep the tension over there, I'm better in the background. What was really a unique kind of like dichotomy about Cam was when it came to like the personal stuff, the charitable work, how he was with kids, his 7-on-7 team, the impact he made outside of the spotlight on game day. On game day, he loved being the center of attention. In so much other area of his life, zero. The Christmas giveaway stuff, the charity work, the stories of him paying for uniforms for a local team that never got out, the way he would interact with your kids at training camp.
The Elijah Hughes story is what meant so much to me.
The stuff that no one sees, the hospital visits, the connections with kids that have terminal illness, like there was no camera crews there. So like it was a really interesting kind of case study on like, here's a guy that loves being the center of the moment when it comes to football but like in so much of his other life, the impact, he craved no attention for it. He didn't need to be the center of attention there because he knew what he was doing was right. I always found that to be very respectable. I always admired that about him. As far as his interaction within the confines of the culture of our team, the thing that we always knew, and again, as a rookie, was there some time we were trying to figure him out? Like, all right, is this guy all in? Maybe. I'm sure there was. But it became evident very quickly from his first training camp as a rookie when he was fighting with Jimmie to be the starting quarterback. It was very clear when it was time to go, and whether that was a training camp practice, the Super Bowl, the NFC Championship, the Monday night game, when it was time to compete, and there was another team, whether it was our defense in practice or the Seattle Seahawks, when it was time to compete, that dude was ready to roll. And when he walked in the huddle, you were like, I'm glad he's on my team. And when it was time to go to summer conditioning and off-season training, that dude was at the front of the line. And when it was like, there was never a doubt how committed he was to the Carolina Panthers and to our success and to my success and to Ryan Khalil and Jonathan Stewart. Like, he felt a vested interest in the success of all of us. And I think once we realized that, and that happened very quickly, his rookie year, he got off obviously to a historically good start. That's why you saw guys always come to his defense. And what you'll say about Cam is the bullets he takes are never from anybody close. You can always judge where the negativity comes from and get an idea of the person. Tim Tebow's negativity comes from never a teammate, a coach, anyone in close proximity. I'm not saying him and Cam are the same personality. I'm just making the comparison. You've never heard a teammate ever talk bad about Cam. You've never heard about a coach talk bad about Cam. The people that don't know Cam the best are the ones that take shots. That's okay.
So the fumble. I can't believe it
defies everything
I've lived
we know
in this
about
city
him.
for 27, more than half my life now. 20-something years, 27 years or something. And I don't remember another athlete that transcended our city the way that he has.
Oh, there's no question.
No basketball player.
He's the single most influential athlete in the history of the city. That's not even debatable.
Okay, right. Why would that still be coming up?
Because people are stupid. Right, like you got to remember, like all the things that we say about like highlight-driven culture, we want to judge society by everybody's best moment or worst moment. There's no nuance. There's no context. There's no substance. There's nothing. That's not the world we live in. That doesn't get a viral Instagram reaction, Twitter reaction. the guys that sit behind mics all day, whose only job is to gain eyeballs, providing context and nuance doesn't sell. If anyone watched a game of football that Cam Newton played in, and at any moment said, that guy is scared to get hurt, that guy's scared to be physical, they're just stupid.
Ridiculous.
They're just lazy, they're dumb. Their opinions shouldn't matter. You could pull up the fumble, fine, and in the moment of the time, in an isolated moment, the optics of what it looks like, I'm not gonna sit here and debate. But I could pull up over a 11-year career, however many years Cam played. I could pick 1 year and one game. I'll let you pick it. I'll let a blind fan pick it. Pick a game. I could find 5 plays in any random game over 11 years that someone else picks. And I go, you see other quarterbacks laying their body on the line doing this? Yeah. You see other quarterbacks jumping over the line of scrimmage, getting their heads hit. You see other guys on 4th and 1 catch the ball and just ram their body into the Mike linebacker. You see other guys doing that. I see Josh Allen doing it. Pick another guy. There's nobody. Maybe in the history of the game, not anybody played the quarterback position as physical, as unconcerned about his own physical well-being than Cam Newton. So the notion that we're going to judge him by one isolated play, albeit it's in the Super Bowl, I get it. It's just so lazy to me, and it's just everything that's wrong with how we cover sports.
Were you on the field? I'm sure you were. I should know this. Forgive my ignorance. The Clay Matthews play?
Yeah, of course.
That was cool.
Of course.
That was amazing, dude. I've had a few bourbons. I just dropped the F-bomb.
No, of course. It's an iconic to McCaffrey.
It's iconic.
Yeah, I was the single side. I ran the little pick inside seam where McCaffrey ran the little out of the backfield
touchdown. Do you know this play?
No.
Cam's in the gun, and Clay Matthews was playing linebacker for the Packers. And Clay is screaming to his teammates exactly what they're about, what Greg and the Panthers are about to do.
What he thought we were going to run.
What thought?
He's like, watch the wheel, watch the wheel.
Oh, you've been watching tape. Watch it. You've been watching tape. I like that. Watch this. And Cam completely circumvented what he just told everybody was going to happen. And it is a viral clip, and it's everywhere.
It's a great clip. And McCaffrey caught a touchdown.
Just cool as hell.
It was off that, and it was awesome. But,
so one thing that it may not fit, so we can exit out and not play it.
It all fits.
I feel like when I did your podcast with Ryan years ago, cameras go down and we just started talking about the different elements of cam, sport, all the shit that goes on.
Yep.
And you guys hit on some elements of, you spoke about some elements in being the captain of the squad. And in the Super Bowl, there were some moments where you guys hit the huddle and your leadership and direction of what the hell you guys were going to do. Like you were such an influential role in all that. And again, I'll just say this shit doesn't have to make it, but because that might be too personal.
No,
but
there's
nothing
too personal for me. I talk about anything.
I just found it so interesting with all the respect and gratitude you both have for him. There were moments where, and it's actually a positive thing. There were moments where, as a team and as a unit, you guys knew your strengths and weaknesses, and there were strengths that you threw into the huddle and the plays you guys were going to throw.
Yeah, no matter what we tried to do that game, we just couldn't get anything.
They were nasty.
That game, again, we think back on, all of us, and every time we're together, we talk about it. I certainly think about it often. Like that game, if we could redo 10 times, looks different 8. We had the worst game of our year at the worst possible time. And obviously Denver had a part of that. Their defense was incredible. Their pass rush and Von.
Yeah, Von Miller went crazy.
We were the best player. We were the best team in the league that year. We were not the best team on the field that day. And the nature of NFL football compared to basketball and baseball, and there's no best of 7 series. You got one shot. And that's why in the NFL world, the best team doesn't always win. The team that plays the best on any given day can win, and that's the beauty of the game. It's also the agonizing component of the game. And when you think back to the Super Bowl, everything we tried in the huddle of just, hey, we're down by a score, regroup, the turnovers, the bad plays, we're good, forward, everything we've done all year. Why? I couldn't tell you in a million lifetimes. I've thought back on how we practiced, our game plan, the things we emphasized. Like, I thought we had a really good spot. I mean, we scored 34 points against Seattle in the divisional round. We had 30 plus at halftime. I think it was like 31-0 at halftime.
And they had a nasty defense, dude.
We scored 30 points, 31, 30, whatever it was. It was 30 plus in the divisional round. In the first half, I think we only kicked the field goal in the second half, and we had to recover an onside kick to win the game, thankfully. Thomas Davis. NFC Championship, we scored, I think we won 45-17 against the Arizona Cardinals, who were probably the second or third best team in the whole league that year. We played them in the NFC Championship at home. We scored 45 points. Now, albeit we scored, I think we scored a touchdown on defense. Luke had a pick six. But like, we scored 80 points in the 79 points in the 2 games prior, and we scored 10.
I know.
Why? If I knew the answer, we would have tried to fix it in the second quarter, right? Like, it's the beauty of sport, and it's the agonizing element of sport. And no matter how much we tried to recreate the magic of that year, no matter how much as leaders we tried to keep guys intact and keep things in place, we never could recreate that magic. 2016, we had a down year. I think we were like 7-9. We didn't make the playoffs. We were like right around 500, a game or two under. We didn't make the playoffs in 16. 17, we got back into the playoffs. I think we won 10 or 11 games. We had a good year. Probably our best year relative to the team we had. 17, we made the playoffs. 18, we were rolling, and Cam got hurt. We were never the same. 19, Cam missed the entire season. And then obviously they blew the whole thing up. So we never really could recreate the magic of 14 playoffs. We went 13 playoffs, 14 playoffs, 15 Super Bowls, 16 missed, 17 playoffs, and then 18, 19. We just couldn't keep it. It was over.
Tough to keep it
I
together.
could nerd out on this all day. I have a million Luke Kuechly questions, but
Fire.
we got to wrap it up.
Hey, I just got one dumb question from a guy living in England for the last 2 years.
Please.
Football is soccer.
So football.
No.
Football is not exactly this, but it's an
For
oblong
this coming
ball.
season, the kickoff return, is it going to be normal again?
No, it's never going to be normal
What has happened?
because of collisions. They want to reduce collision.
So here's the.
There's got to
ready
be a
for
better
evolution?
approach than
All right,
what
so
I saw.
here's the timeline of what's happened while you were sipping coffee with the Queen. Tea, I guess.
T. T.
I've spent 3 whole days of my life in England. So I played a game there in 2019. We got there on a Friday, went down and walked around Buckingham Palace after practice. Saturday,
That's
had
where I
a
have
chill. I didn't
sit
see
with-
the Queen.
I
and
did.
we flew home Sunday. So that's the extent of my European vacations. Here's the timeline of the kickoff in a really quick version. Used to kick off, touchbacks, you got the ball at the 20-yard line. So teams would try to kick touchbacks knowing you'd be on the 20. Back then, the kickers weren't as good. Teams would return them at 7-8 yards back in the end zone because the idea was, if I get tackled on the 19, 18, 17, who gives a shit? It's 3 yards. Devin Hester's returning the ball, and Dante Hall,
Yeah, man.
and Cribbs from the Browns. Like, there were some really good returners. But what was happening was it was such a long run, and it was collisions.
And those guys are going 25 miles an hour,
Yeah.
and they weigh 215 pounds.
So then they outlawed.
Kick it. Why not just come back from commercial and this ball is placed on the 25-yard line for...
There's twofold. It's ceremonial. It is the first optics of every football game anyone in their wildest
Then
dreams
they've
ever
got to make
watched.
it better than what it
There was
is.
a
It
kickoff.
sucks.
So it then went all the way to the fact that everything was a touchback. They kept moving the kick point so much closer,
Kicking
from
in
the
the fifth row.
25 to the 30 to the 35, that these kickers were so good they kicked it to the uprights. So then they started toying with, okay, let's change the touchback rule where instead of the 20, we move it closer to the 30. This year it's the 35, I believe.
Wait,
Last year it was the 30. A
The
touchback.
play starts on the 35?
The offense gets the ball on the 35-yard line now to de-incentivize you from kicking it through the end zone. But now they all line up closer to each other, which is actually an XFL rule.
It is.
Which I called before COVID hit. I called 5
So
games.
touchback, you have a different ball placement.
So the touchback in old traditional football, you got the ball at the 20.
20-yard line,
Now,
plays dead.
this year, going forward, if you kick a touchback, you will get the ball. The offense will possess the ball at the 35-yard line.
Which is a crazy advantage.
It was the 30. It was the 30. Now it's the 35. They want the kickoff to come back.
And if you kick it in play,
Yeah, you return it.
but
we
they're
line
gonna
up-
land it
up
on the one. If you're a great kicker, you're gonna put it on the
Correct. Now,
one.
remember, the
So what is
idea-
your incentive?
to what?
If you can kick a touchback and have it on the 35,
You don't. That's really good field position with these kickers
That's
nowadays.
really
You
good
got to
field
gain
position.
20 yards and you're in field goal range.
okay. So
The
I'm not thinking
idea
about the
is-
field goal. I'm not thinking about the field goal. I'm thinking about scoring a touchdown.
The idea the NFL is trying to do is, so they've closed the kickoff line. So the kicker's back here now, and his entire row of 10 guys covered to kick is way on the other side of the 50. They're like, is either 5, I feel like I should know this. It's like 5 or 10 yards away from the return unit. You kick it, nobody can move until the ball is caught. And then it's a live play.
I didn't
Which
realize that
mean-
part. So that changes
you can
things. I'm used to
engage
somebody
I
in
don't
there.
run. We no longer run.
So
and
they've got a 4-second
we-
sprint.
Those
untouched.
days are over.
The
Last year
days
was
of
the fir-
Steve Tasker are no more.
That was
waiting for
new
that.
last year. That was an XFL rule. So the idea was, okay, we don't want to increase kickoff returns. The evolution was when we were running and timing the kick and in a full speed, they did everything in their power to get more touchbacks. As the touchbacks increased, the significance of the play decreased. Then they said, okay, we want returns to increase, but we don't want collisions to increase. They moved the kickoff unit and the return unit closer to each other so there's less running starts.
Okay.
That was after they got rid of the wedge. So there's like a lot of iterations of this rule-wise.
And I've been out of touch for
to
2 years, so
decrease
I can't wait for
injury.
this year.
It's all
then.
about decreasing injuries.
I'm
Everything
completely
is
on
about-
board with that, but that play needs to matter. And
That's
the last time I
NFL's
watched,
argument, and kickoffs returns were up last year.
okay. So I guess I missed a year.
So kickoff returns were up. I want to say on the whole season, there were 3 touchdowns.
It's super rare.
2 or 3
And now,
touchdowns.
That's still better than I had in my head.
now it's
But I mean,
even
there's
harder
hundreds.
because of the
Think how many kickoffs there
engagement
are.
Yeah.
Greg's talking about. I mean,
Because of what? I didn't hear what you
because
said.
of the engagement of the way that the play unfolds now, where they have to possess the football before anybody can move, it creates almost like an offensive football play.
It is.
Instead
high-speed
of
collisions.
free-for-all of people just
Madness.
blowing each other up and creating seams for guys like Dave Meggett to make a. You ever heard of him?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Now, here's the secondary part. Everyone looks at the head injuries. That's critical, right?
Do you worry about that?
Did I worry about it for myself?
Yeah.
Like now?
Yeah.
Well, I'm great now. I don't get hit in the head anymore.
Right.
We can
It's
get to that in a
perfectly
second.
normal. We can
But-
all attest.
I wouldn't say. But to finish the kickoff thing, and we can talk about that. I'm happy to talk about that. Everyone talks about the head injuries of the high-speed collisions. Another huge element of the reduction of the running start was guys were blowing knees out. The high-speed change of direction, the guys were blowing gaskets. So now it's like, bring everyone closer, controlled. I'm fighting off blocks. I'm not getting up to 22 miles an hour, sticking my foot in the ground and blowing my knee out. So it's head injuries, yes, but there was also a lot of it was the highest frequency of lower body injuries were on kickoff.
That's like a parallel to the driver's cockpit. We used to have all these open spaces and everybody wanted room to move around in a crash. And you even wanted your seatbelts to stretch. Now the seatbelts are super short. You want no stretch. The seats contain you, so there's less momentum to build for
That's
that impact.
interesting. That's an interesting correlation I never thought of.
Yeah.
Well,
You're right.
if the seat's out here and I move into it, there's impact. If the seat's here,
If you don't move,
there's no collision.
and that's the Hans device. The Hans
no
device doesn't
collision.
allow your head to gain that momentum
I'm already
and create
in
a problem.
contact the whole time. That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
What, as all of the CTE information unfolded, what was the conversation in the locker room? What concern did you guys have as this started to really become scientifically proven?
I probably have a less PC answer than most people. I think concussions are real. I think guys have real effects from it. I think it's definitely a concern. I think we've come a long way in understanding them, diagnosing them, and how to handle return to play. I think some guys are more susceptible.
I agree. That's the toughest thing to manage.
I've seen some guys that could ram their head through that wall for 20 years, and there's zero
Just
effect.
fine.
I see guys that take hits that you go, I've seen harder hits than that in practice.
I'm the guy that's
And they're
ran
out
my
for
head through a
3
wall.
weeks.
Dale Jr.
Yeah.
is the opposite of that in the experiences I've had.
Yeah.
So I completely agree with you.
I don't think anything is like one size fits all. I think there's a very individual component to head injuries and concussions. Long-term CTE, and I'm not a doctor, nor do I pretend to be. I think the guys that we see, the horrible stories that are real, mental health, depression, suicide, drug abuse, those stories are, Junior Seau, like those
He was a
stories are
friend.
real.
I knew Junior.
Those are real, and they're awful. They're tragic. I think to put all of that on NFL and concussion and whatnot is a little misleading, in my opinion. I've seen so many guys firsthand. I've had concussions. Some of my best friends have had Luke Kuechly,
yeah.
he's gonna be a Hall of Famer this time next year. He should have been a first ballot. That's a whole different discussion. Luke's career was cut short because he understood that at the point he was at, concussions were becoming so frequent and he was young that he didn't want to live with that. And I'll never forget the day he told me in the weight room, he's like, dude, I'm done. And I was like, I'm done with what? He's like, I'm done. I'm like, I get it, man. It's real.
At the height of his power.
At the height of his power, man, he had never missed a Pro Bowl in 7 years or whatever it was. I say all of that to say, I think there is a second factor in the horrible tragedies that we see from former professional athletes. And every time a former professional football, I'll take football player because I don't pretend to know the other sports, so I'll stick with what I know. Professional football players that have unfortunate long-term effects, suicide being the most tragic, obviously. And they do an autopsy, and he had CTE. CTE caused it. I don't know if it's that clear cut. I think there's a lot of guys that have CTE and have mental health issues and have drug addiction and have steroid abuse and have plus. To say which one of those was the final straw to break the camel's back, I don't pretend to know. And I would never speculate. But I feel like to say football is the big bad guy, and if you get a concussion, you are gonna live a life of tragedy and a life of depression and a life, I think, is unfair. I've had many concussions in my life. Am I as sharp as another 40-year-old? I have no idea. If you cut my brain open right now, do I have CTE? Probably. Can I live as a functioning husband, father, member of society with, yeah. So like, I don't want to like, and I'm very careful because I don't want to ever like seem like I'm insensitive to people because it's real.
Follow you.
Like it's kind of like back pain, where like my back is killing me. You do an MRI and I have a herniated disc. I could MRI everyone here, and one of us has a herniated disc. My herniated disc, I still have, my back doesn't hurt. So like, is my pain from my herniated disc? Is it? I don't know. Like, so I think of it kind of like that. Like, is CTE the ultimate demise of a lot of these guys? I don't know. I don't know if it's as concrete, clear as that. Maybe it is, and maybe the science will get better. Once we can determine CTE on living people, I think that will help us. Right now, we're only studying the brains of deceased, early-aged football players who have tragic demise.
Outcomes, right.
But if you were able to right now do a CTE and I was diagnosed with CTE, I think people would look differently at CTE and say, okay, that's a little different than the story we've heard of guys driving their cars off a bridge. That's my take on CTE. Do I think it's real? Yes. Do I think concussions are serious? Yes. Do I think guys have to be much different, handle them differently than we did early in our careers when we didn't tell anybody? Yes. Did I play games with concussions and symptoms? Yes. Did I go through an entire week of practice where I couldn't see in the sun and I just prayed to God that I didn't get hit again in the next game? Yes. Am I suggesting that people should do that now? No. At all. It's like, that was just the way it was. Like, you want to make a living? Yeah, play.
And you weren't going to take yourself out. Like, you had to have this layer that was going to remove you from it. So there's no way.
You got to protect guys from themselves. Yep. I think it's real. I think it's serious. I think it deserves all of the attention that it's getting. Do I think it's the ultimate single culprit of the tragic end of life situations we see from a lot of NFL players? I don't think that's fair. That's my take on it. I might be wrong, but that's where I stand today with what we know.
Love your honesty about it.
Yeah, I do too. I appreciate that perspective.
I think we all got CT.
I know I do.
I've
hit a lot of shit.
We all do.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure a lot of race car drivers do.
So then my question would be, why can we live relatively normal lives and other people don't? And again, I'm not diminishing. Mental health is real. Like, people's struggles are real. Everyone has their own journey. I don't pass judgment on addiction. I don't pass judgment on depression. Like, that shit is real and it's serious and it deserves all of our support and not our judgment and any of that. But to say all of that is directly correlated to you are only like that because you played football, I don't think that's fair.
Great point.
Yeah, I have two more very quick things and we'll get out of here. One very fun, one football, one family. I know your brother's going through a very difficult time. I just read that today. Glioblastoma. Walk us through what that's been like, and I love reading that you've talked to him every day. During this difficult time.
Again, it's such a shame that so much of life's perspective comes through like heartache. I don't want to say tragedy because it's not a tragic ending yet, and we're optimistic that we can find a way through it. But like, so much of life's perspective comes through the hard times, and it's such a shame that like we all can't. It takes these really shitty moments to like bring it out of us. I wish we could all like have better perspective when life is really good, but maybe that's just like the human experience. Agree. I don't. I'm not a psychologist.
The yin and the yang.
But like, so in regards to my brother, so it was back in late March. He's 42, lives in Arkansas, played Division I football, went to Notre Dame, transferred, finished, graduated from Virginia, played quarterback, stud, national high school football player, like recruit, could have went to any college in America. Stud, 1 year above me. So his senior year, I was a junior. Went to follow him to Notre Dame. Didn't work out. It was not where he went to Virginia. I went to Miami. After him 1 year, me like 2 months. Fast forward to March of this year. He tells the story. It's actually kind of funny, and if you know him, it's a good part of the story. It was March Madness. So it was like sometime in end of March. It was March Madness. He's a huge Arkansas Razorbacks fan. Lives in Little Rock, Arkansas, him and his wife, who's awesome. And he was at the country club with all the guys, watching the Sweet 16, Calipari, March Madness. Baby. So he wakes up Sunday, and he's like, I had a little bit of a headache. He's like, thought I had too many beers with the boys. Like, we're watching March Madness. We're having fun at the club. It's a Saturday night. We golfed in the morning. We're watching the game with my buddies. He's like, it's not the first time I woke up with a headache. He's like, I thought I drank too much Sunday. Didn't have any cocktails. Me and my wife went to brunch. We went to church. Did our normal Sunday. Didn't think anything of it. Goes to work on Monday. Doesn't feel right. Headache, whatnot. Tuesday, sitting at his office, and this is when he called us. He's like, something's wrong. He's like, I sat down at the office today, switching my numbers, couldn't write my name. He's like, something was wrong. We're like, you need to go to the doctor. Like, we thought he was having like a stroke, which looking back, I wish he was. That night, we get a text from his wife. Long story short, that was a Tuesday night. Took him to the ER, found a tumor. We immediately flew down there, me and my parents, on Wednesday. Thursday, he had brain surgery to remove the tumor. So this was like it was end of March, early April. I don't remember exactly what the date was. And he was diagnosed with glioblastoma, which is the most severe, most significant high-grade brain tumor that you can have. The results, they're not great. It's a very challenging, very difficult. We're very fortunate through some connections with some really good friends. Duke's Brain Tumor Center, not the Children's Hospital. Duke's Brain Tumor Center is probably the #1 brain tumor center in the world, and it's right up relatively up the street. So fortunately, we were able to get him seen there by their team. They've been they've been overseeing all of his care, chemo, radiation, had some different ups and downs, some different treatments. There's some things down the road they feel good about treatment-wise that will come on board the longer he goes. And but yeah, it's been tough. He's 42 years old, married, great family, great people down in Arkansas that love him, huge Arkansas fan. And just to see a guy who, like, no matter where he lives, people love him. He's like the life of every party. He's the guy you want to have a beer with. He's had plenty in his day. Like, he's that guy that, like, when you go somewhere with him, like, I just love that guy. I don't know who he is, but I just love that guy, right? Doesn't have an enemy in the world, has fun everywhere he lives, people. So it's been tough. It's been tough on my parents. They live here in Charlotte by us. My younger brother lives like up in Sherrills Ford, so close, but maybe an hour from us. So we're all kind of here, and he's in Arkansas. He's the only one in the immediate family who's not in town. So it's been tough, just living with the ups and downs of that, the unknowns. You try not to, like, project. You try not to worry about, like, you are not that statistic. Those people are not you, right? But it's tough. So we're living in that right now daily and just trying to hope for better days,
Well, our prayers are with him, and I mean it.
Yeah, I appreciate that. It all works, man. We need as many people as we can. And what I think the coolest part about all of it, and it's obviously horrible, but man, you talk about positive spirit. Goes to work every day. Will take the business trip. Went to Nashville with his buddies a couple days ago to just hang. He's gonna go to some Arkansas tailgate. He, like, lives for Arkansas football. They tailgate. They got season tickets. He goes with all of his buddies, boys from work. Like, so this is a good time of year coming up for him. So that'll be a nice positive uplift. But you talk about a guy who hasn't let this, like, change his life, his lifestyle. Does he have his down days? Yeah. If it were me, I probably would have more.
I would too.
Definitely.
But, like, he's really attacking it with everything he can. His wife is incredible. His family and friends his friends back in Arkansas are incredible. So he's giving it everything he's got. And that's what gives us the most hope, is, like, if anybody can do it, mindset from everything we hear, like, the greatest outcomes are all the people that have the best mindsets and the best approach. Like, he checks all those boxes. So we hope he falls into that category.
Well, we'll lift him up, man.
Appreciate that.
I appreciate your spirit.
Yeah.
He's really fortunate to have you. You're such a kind man. You're forget just Charlotte. Like, your impact on our city is immeasurable, and you're a great friend to him. You've always been such a wonderful friend to me, and we love you, man.
Appreciate
Thank you for
guys. This
coming
is a
out here
blast.
tonight and hanging out.
We can do this
with
without
us.
the cameras.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to do.
Next time you guys come and hang, I'm in. Bourbon's good, by the way.
It is pretty good.
I don't know
isn't
the
it?
last time I had 2 bourbons on a, what is it, Monday?
Monday
It's
night.
a Monday
I'm gonna
night.
show up. My wife's, I'm gonna give her a kiss goodnight. She's like, where you been? I was like, I was at Jimmie's.
Jimmie's house.
She's like, you
yeah.
smell like you were at the bar. I was like, I was at Jimmie's. No more questions.
You're at Jimmie's. Thank you guys for
Timestamp
hanging
this so
out.
she knows I was here.
This is
Just
never
kidding.
settled. We appreciate
Appreciate
it.
you
Thank
guys.
you guys.
Thank you.